Quick, Mark.
I'm sure he'd tell you.
So like that's
Color guard, you may retire. And pipers. Oh, they did. And pipers. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us here today for a very special day in Masonry for Heritage Lodge in particular and our jurisdiction. My name is Right Worshipful Brother Daniel Graham, past Grand Director of Ceremonies, and I will be your Master of Ceremonies today. I'd like to call this gathering to order, and please ask for respect and silence through the ceremony. If you do need to, if standing is too hard, there are some seating areas around. We do have some seats here at the front for anybody that needs seats. You're more than welcome to sit. We'd like to acknowledge that the land we're meeting on is the traditional territory of many First Nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Schnabek, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations peoples, including Inuit and Métis peoples. And we also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credits. I would now like to introduce, ask for you to bow your heads for the invocation by our past Grand Chaplain.
Good morning, everyone. Before I start the prayer, I'd like to share a little story at the first dedication. Right Worshipful Brother Arthur Watson, past Grand Chaplain, and Chaplain of Heritage Lodge, gave the indication of the original laying of the cornerstone at the time, which went as follows. In ancient times, Nehemiah wanted to build, but there were all kinds of blocks. Lack of enthusiasm, lack of foresight, no funds. The bottom line was that it couldn't be done. Nehemiah, however, cried out, "Let us start rebuilding." So they set out about the work vigorously and for good purpose. It has been the same in this project. It has been strenuous and challenging. The task has been accomplished because the resolve was there. And with faith in the power of the great grand geometrician of the universe, this lodge room is to be dedicated today. All of this because those among us with understanding have strengthened their hands for the task. Let us pray. O thou great and powerful being, who has brought us this hour, continue to bless our efforts, that future generations may see that we have vigorously upheld our beliefs and have left this lodge room as a memorial to our desire to see the greatness of our order preserved. Thus all those who visit here, and may this little room show all the glory of our Masonic past. So mote it be.
So mote it be. Now I'd like to introduce to you somebody who's well known to Masons. He's the Director of Ceremonies of Heritage Lodge and a member of the Board of General Purpose, Right Worshipful Brother Arthur Pacheco.
Good morning. Good morning. It's my pleasure at this point to introduce the current Grand Lodge officers that are with us here today. Starting with our Dean of past Grand Masters, Most Worshipful Brother Ronald Groshaw. Most Worshipful Brother David J. Cameron. And our Deputy Grand Master, Right Worshipful Brother Jamie R. Ireland. Representing us from the District of Frontenac, Right Worshipful Brother Ian H. Troyer. Representing us from Nipissing, Muskoka, Right Worshipful Brother John K. Davis. Representing us from the District of Peterborough, Right Worshipful Brother Drew Wilson. Other Grand Lodge officers, Right Worshipful Brother Thomas F. Peddle, our Grand Junior Warden. Right Worshipful Brother Tim Corin, our Grand Registrar. Joining me from the Board of General Purposes, Right Worshipful Brother Peter J. Cialstis. Right Worshipful Brother Michael J. McDonald. Our other Grand Lodge officers, Very Worshipful Brother Ian Miller Donald, Grand Librarian. And Very Worshipful Brother Angus Gregory McKinnon, Grand Archivist. And joining us also as a Grand Steward, Very Worshipful Brother Earl Goodwin. I'd also like to take this opportunity to acknowledge some dignitaries that are with us here today. Wendy Rowney, our Staff Director at Pioneer Village. Stephen Kellier, Educational Program Director. And Mario Boyesvet, Maintenance Director of the Pioneer Village. Back to you, sir.
I'd now like to introduce the Worshipful Master of Heritage Lodge, Very Worshipful Brother William Willis.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Don't let anybody tell you that Masons can't organize a parade. We just did. I'll try and keep my comments as short as possible. Today we're gathered to celebrate the placing of the original cornerstone of this rebuilt building from the 1800s, which was dedicated by Most Worshipful Brother Groshaw 40 years ago. July of this year will also mark the 40th anniversary of Most Worshipful Ronald E. Groshaw becoming our Grand Master. And if you would join me to congratulate him on his 40th year. Most Worshipful Groshaw's contributions to Heritage Lodge and this project are very, very well documented throughout the history. I'm very, very pleased and particularly proud to have him here with me today. It was actually in Riverdale John Ross Robertson Lodge that Most Worshipful Groshaw placed me in the chair of King Solomon. I won't tell you how long ago. We're also celebrating and recognizing the vision and work started more than 40 years ago to plan, organize, and open Heritage Lodge. The motto of Heritage Lodge is light from the past. That motto and vision is as important today as it was all those years ago. Our hope is that this event will do just that. Bring light from the past in order to spark an interest in you in Heritage Lodge, and more importantly, in the important work of keeping this lodge room open and operating. I also need to recognize and thank the officers, members, and volunteers who have made this day possible. Without their hard work, we wouldn't have 150 Masons here and have all of the bits and pieces needed to pull this together. So from my heart to yours, from Heritage Lodge, I thank you all for your hard work. I'd also like to recognize the Toronto Region Conservation Authority for working with us to allow this day to happen. And in particular, you'll hear their names again, Wendy Rowney, Stephen Kellier, and Mario Bosover for their hard work in working with us and cooperating with us. They have been absolutely wonderful to work with, and we hope to do more here in the village. I'm looking forward to working with all of them more closely as we plan new events and more involvement here at Black Creek Pioneer Village. Thank you for your time and attention, and I will have some remarks after the ceremony.
That was the briefest we've ever heard Bill speak. So now we're going to start with the ceremony. And again, it's my pleasure to introduce the fine brethren taking part in the ceremony. First of all, our Deputy Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of Canada in the province of Ontario, Right Worshipful Brother Jamie R. Ireland. Okay. We'll put the Worshipful Master to work. And if you're videoing this, please make sure you capture video of Bill working. And if you are familiar with Heritage Lodge, you realize what a joke that is, because Bill has gone full tilt non-stop for so long to make this happen. I know he thanked everybody, but as a member of Heritage Lodge, we all thank Bill as well. Next up is, normally would be the District Deputy Grand Master, but Heritage Lodge being a traveling lodge, we don't actually have a home district because we travel around. Our District Deputy Grand Master falls to our Grand Registrar, and we're lucky to have him here today, Right Worshipful Brother Tim Corn. We have a past Grand Senior Warden and member of Heritage Lodge for Senior Warden today, Right Worshipful Brother Mahar Eid. Our Grand Junior Warden is here, Right Worshipful Brother Thomas Peddle. We have a past Grand Director of Ceremonies filling in for the actual Grand Director of Ceremonies. That would be me, Right Worshipful Brother Daniel Graham. Filling in for our Grand Chaplain who was unavailable is a past Grand Chaplain, Right Worshipful Brother Paul Chagger. You've already had him introduced to you, but our past Grand Master for the ceremony will be none other than our very own Right Worshipful Brother Ronald E. Groshaw. Again, the Grand Master who lay the cornerstone just around the corner there of this building 40 years ago this October. And of course, our Worshipful Master, very worshipful Brother William Willis. This is your party for the ceremony. By authority of the Grand Master and obedience to his order, I do now command and require all here assembled to preserve silence and observe due order during this ceremony. This proclamation I make to the north, the south, the west, and the east.
Very Worshipful Deputy Grand Master, it is with great pleasure that I welcome you and the members of the Fraternity of Freemasons to rededicate this cornerstone on the occasion of the celebration of this building being reconstructed on this site, with the time-honored rites and ceremonies of the crown.
Let us pray. O thou, the great architect and ruler of the universe, we implore thee to be with us, thy servants in the solemn rite in which we are about to engage, that the symbolism of the cornerstone be abundantly impressed on our hearts, and help us in the upbuilding of our minds and characters. May the uses to which it shall be put in future years ever be bound to thy glory and the good of mankind, be sanctified by thy divine blessing. Glory be to God on high. Response: as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, without end. So mote it be.
Good morning again, ladies, gentlemen, brethren. I'd like to give a small history on the heritage of Heritage Lodge and this particular building. Is it on? We are here today to celebrate the history of this building, which has been the home of two lodges of the Grand Lodge of Canada in the province of Ontario. Blackwood Lodge number 311 and Heritage Lodge number 730. In the early 1870s, Brother Thomas Ferguson Blackwood was a hardware merchant whose work took him to many villages in Ontario, most likely on horse and buggy. One of the villages he visited often was Woodbridge. The village at that time had no Masonic lodge, and the brother Blackwood was approached by a group of 16 Masons who wanted to establish a lodge in that village. In time, Blackwood Lodge number 311 was instituted and proudly named after Brother Blackwood, who also served as its first master. Blackwood Lodge was the first lodge to use this building as its home and held its first meeting in this building on March 4th, 1874, and continued to meet on the second floor until 1899. Blackwood Lodge is still an active lodge in York District. We are very pleased to recognize the officers and members of Blackwood Lodge who are here with us today. Fast forward to July 1981. Very worshipful Brother Stephen Maisels was a vice president of a local land developer who had purchased the property that this building originally stood on. Recognizing its historical importance as well as its significance within the community as a Masonic lodge, he wished to save the building and its heritage from the bulldozer, and subsequently had several conversations with our Deputy Grand Master at that time, Right Worshipful Brother Ronald Groshaw. Those conversations set in motion the donation of the building to the Toronto Region Conservation Authority and its eventual relocation to Black Creek Pioneer Village. Over the next few years, Heritage Lodge then planned, managed, and coordinated with the Toronto Region Conservation Authority to have the building moved and restored, with the lodge room as you see it today in its original form on the second floor. With the building successfully reconstructed, this original cornerstone which we are celebrating today was placed on October 1st, 1983. An important ceremony attended by many Masons and dignitaries, including Pauline McGibbon, the Lieutenant Governor of Ontario, to mark its completion and a new beginning for the building. Subsequently, a decision needed to be reached as to whether the lodge room should be traditionally dedicated or not, in order for Masons to actually hold meetings in the room, as concerns had been raised about using the artifacts and protecting them from potential damage. As you will see when visiting the lodge room, it is indeed a small space with numerous priceless artifacts. On the evening of June 25th, 1985, the Black Creek Temple was in fact dedicated by the Grand Master of the day, Most Worshipful Brother Ronald E. Groshaw, ably assisted by a Grand Lodge committee of 17 in the lodge room. This event was also broadcast to the Visitor Center, where an additional 200 Masons watched the event on closed-circuit television. No social media at the time. However, a mutually beneficial compromise was reached, and there have been no meetings held in the lodge since its dedication, in order to protect the room and its artifacts from wear and possible damage for the benefit of future generations. This unique lodge room has been operated, maintained, and staffed for over 40 years by Heritage Lodge, living up to the vision of its founders, preserved in the Heritage Lodge bylaws, and I quote, "The purpose of the Masonic Lodge at Black Creek Pioneer Village is to present Masonry in a favorable light to the many visitors who tour the village each year, and to give them a better understanding of the place of Freemasonry in the social fabric of a 1986 in 1867 rural community. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning,
Morning.
Grand Master.
Past Grand Master, Worshipful Master of Heritage Lodge, number 730, brethren, visitor, and guests. It is indeed an honor to be here on such a beautiful day to rededicate the cornerstone to this great old historical lodge building. It was just a mere 40 years ago that Most Worshipful Brother Groshaw was standing in this very spot, doing this very ceremony. Most Worshipful Brother Groshaw, what a pleasure and distinct privilege this is for me to be here today with you with us. Thank you so much. Worshipful Master of Heritage Lodge, number 730, thank you very much for the invitation to take part in such an honorable event. I am so happy to be here with you and everyone assembled. I've been wanting to visit Black Creek Pioneer Village for a long time, and it turns out this is on the same street as my son's apartment, and I'm here with him today in his beautiful apartment. Benja, I had no idea we were this close. Thank you everyone for coming here today and witnessing this rededication ceremony with us. And Most Worshipful Brother Ronald Groshaw, thank you for allowing me to do this with you. Thank you all. All right, so Brother, Grand Director of Ceremonies, you will unveil the stone of rededication. You have a bird then?
Yep. The stone says, commemorating Blackwood Lodge, number 311, AD 1874 to 1899, AL 5874 to 5899. Heritage Lodge, number 730, AD 1983 to 2023, AL 5983 to 6023. That's the stone. Right with you, sir.
Thank you so much. Brother Grand Registrar, you will apply the instrument of your office, the square, to see that the stone is square and true.
Right, sir, I have applied the instrument of my office and found the stone true and square.
Brother Past says, Brother Past Grand Senior Warden, you will apply the instrument of the Grand Senior Warden, the level, to see that the stone is level and true.
Right worshipful sir, I have applied the instrument of the Grand Senior Warden and the stone is level and true.
Thank you.
Brother Grand Junior Warden, you will employ the plumb rule, the instrument of the Grand Junior Warden, to see that the stone is upright and true.
Right worshipful sir, I have applied the instrument of the Grand Junior Warden, and the stone is upright and true.
Thank you.
My right worshipful brethren, I am confident in your skill in our royal art. It remains for the Deputy Grand Master to finish the work.
As I symbolically spread the cement that binds one generation to another through the light of time, may it also spread the prospect of prosperity, the calm of peace, and the treasure of love that unite all mankind.
There you go.
Perfect. Most worshipful Brother Groshaw. Okay. Well made, truly laid, well proved, true and trusty.
Brethren, we're going to dedicate the stone. There's some instructions I'd like to give all the brethren here. The brethren will stand the sign of fidelity. In singing unison, we dedicate this stone in response to each of the following sentences. We rededicate this building, a symbol of history in this city for years to come.
We dedicate this stone
In memory of that great company of men who through the centuries have sought to display the beauties of faith, hope, and charity.
dedicate this stone
To those who this day strive to live noble and walk worthily as their predecessors along the upward way, with faith undimmed.
we dedicate this stone
To those who in all their lawful undertaking and interactions with their fellows who act and work on the square and seek to maintain Masonic grace and their fullest splendor.
we dedicate this stone
To those who speak peace and tranquility in a busy world by pausing to give thanks to the great architect.
we dedicate this stone
To all those who shall follow, finding faith to uphold, hope to encourage, and charity to share with all mankind.
we dedicate this stone
In the name of the most worshipful, the Grand Lodge of Ancient Free and Accepted Masons of Canada in the province of Ontario, and by the power afforded me by the Grand Master, I proclaim this stone rededicated to the glory of the great architect of the universe. May those who enjoy the fruits of our labor continue to humbly adore, magnify, and praise thy most holy name. May generations yet to come in this community celebrate with joy and gratitude the progress of the past, the blessing of the present, and sure and certain hope for the future.
The stone. which the builders rejected. The same has become the head of the corner. This is the Lord's doing, and it is marvelous in our eyes. Let us pray. Great architect, we implore you to bless this stone as we rededicate it, dedicate this cornerstone to your great glory. May they ever remind us to rest, be still, and give thanks for all thy blessings. Then, Lord, with renewed strength, consecrate us and those of the future to be eager workers in your quarry throughout our lives. So motivated.
Having completed our work according to the ancient usages and customs of the craft, we congratulate the trustees of this tunnel, and as it has been so faithfully maintained and preserved during the last century, and commit its care and keeping to those who will assume that responsibility in the years ahead.
Let us pray. May the blessings of the great architect rest upon us and upon all our regular Freemasons. And may the sublime principles of Freemasonry so enrich their hearts that craftsmen throughout the world may have wisdom in all their work, strength in time of difficulty, faith as the foundation of hope, and charity as the fruit of obedience to his revealed will. So mote it be.
That concludes the ceremony of rededication. I'd like to invite Heritage Worshipful Master to come forward to give his closing remarks.
Deputy Grand Master, past Grand Masters, Grand Lodge officers, Heritage Lodge officers and members, Blackwood Lodge Master, officers and members. The list is getting shorter, believe me. Brethren who have traveled to be here with us today, members of Heritage Lodge, those who soon will be members of Heritage Lodge, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we thank you very, very much for your attendance today. Just a couple of items to wrap up. I want to draw your attention to this list of names to the right of Most Worshipful Groshaw. These are the names of all of the brethren who have served as interpreters in the lodge room over the last 40 years. And I'd like at this moment, if anyone who has served as an interpreter would just raise your hand. Come on, there's more out there than that, I know it. Yeah. And I'd like to recognize you all and thank you for that dedication and time you've spent doing that work. If you have volunteered in the past as an interpreter, thank you. We hope you will consider continuing now that the lodge room is back up and open. If you have not been involved in the interpreters program, I would ask that you consider it. Sign up today for more information. There is a sign-up sheet in the regalia room. There's no harm in finding out more about this program. If you have not signed up, please do. I'm sure you'll find the experience to be a rewarding one. And as all Masons already know, it's only one day a month. Once again, thank you, Deputy Grand Master, Grand Lodge officers, for your support and attendance today. Your support of this event and Heritage Lodge is very much appreciated and needed. Thank you to all the volunteers who have given their time and talents to plan and execute this event. Thank you all for attending. Thank you for making today a memorable one. And I'm going to use that line again. That don't let anybody tell you that Masons can't organize a parade. We can. Thank you for signing up to support this lodge room. I will look forward to working with all of you again during our interpreters training. And thank you. Yes, please. No, you should have already done that, and I apologize. Something went wrong, not my fault. You'll see here in the northeast corner of this building the original cornerstone, and it's below grade, so that you'll recognize it. The reason it's below grade is that buildings of this era would not have had a concrete foundation. So to support this building, sorry, that's okay. There you go. Okay. Oh, I think we're back. That's even better than it was. Yeah. So the reason that it's below grade is that a village of 1867 would not have concrete foundations. But in order to preserve these buildings, many of them are set on a concrete foundation, so it is below grade. If you have an opportunity to come forward and see it, please do. And if you position yourself accordingly, you'll be able to get a photo of it. The lodge room will be open shortly for about an hour. If you haven't been up to the lodge room, I would encourage you to do so. And once again, thank you, and I'll turn it back to Deputy Grand Master for the closing.
Thank you, Worshipful Master. I didn't see that in the program. Everyone can hear me without that?
Now we can hear you.
All right. Thanks, Wayne. Again, I want to thank everybody for coming out and sharing this with us. This is definitely our history. We are great and honored to be able to preserve it. Most Worshipful Brother Groshaw, thank you so much for doing this a mere 40 years ago. Look at the fruits of your labor. All of the Masons here, we all know that we should emulate more the Most Worshipful Brother Groshaw. Still very active, traveling around, visiting lodges, and we should all do that ourselves.
Yes.
Thank you, Most Worshipful Sir.
Well, I have good news for the kids. We're just about done. One more little thing to do. And this is a time-honored tradition with Masons. We'd like to call... Sorry, let's back that up, Lulu. There are two more things to do. The kids are not looking happy now. We're going to invite... I'm glad there's this stand in front of me. We're going to invite the Worshipful Master back for an encore, and then we'll get to our last duty.
Brother, I apologize for that. I surprised Dan with this, and hopefully it's a surprise for the Deputy Grand Master as well. Deputy Grand Master, if you wouldn't mind joining me? As many will know, I spent a bit of time in the wonderful state of Utah. And that Grand Lodge of Utah registered a Masonic tartan in Scotland, and it's the Universal Masonic Tartan. And as to show my appreciation for your attendance today, I'd like to give you a bow tie from the great state of Utah and the Grand Lodge of Utah, the Universal Masonic Tartan. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for doing that. There we go. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. I need one of my mentors now, Most Worshipful Brother Cameron, to teach me how to tie this.
He's a good teacher. He taught.
Thank you so much.
By the way, that photograph, if you look, I think it'll be the either the September or the October issue of Masonic GQ magazine. That'll be on the cover, so watch for that at your favorite magazine store. Okay, kids, now we're down to the last thing. Okay, again, it's a time-honored thing that we Masons do, and we call it the Junior Warden's Toast. However, since nobody has anything to drink, he will still perform the toast, and then the kids can join in, and then we're done. Brother Junior Warden. Oh,
Yeah. Brethren, please rise. And with me. Happy to meet, sorry to heart, happy to meet again. Thank you.
I figured out I didn't even schedule the link last night. Actually, this morning.
Yeah, but we're forward to
It's the red name, right?
I hope so.
Yeah, I know.